Well, welcome back to the show. It's now time to talk baseball from a fan perspective. And so we're excited to have a select group of Hog fans joining us today. And I'm going to go ahead and bring them on in. As you can see, kind of go around the horn and introduce everybody. We have Kendall Apple, Mike Harris, Jim Eaton, and the stats man himself, Ryan Folks. And if you don't follow Ryan Folks on Twitter, you should probably do that for all your baseball stats. But guys, first and foremost, thanks for joining us.
Glad to be here.
Yes, thanks for having us.
But before we get into the 2021 season that's about to start here, let's go back to when 2020 ended. And I'd love to get your perspective quickly on just where you were and what you remember when you realized that baseball season was done after that Grand Canyon series. So, Kendall, we'll start with you.
Well, I was not in good health at that time, so I was laying in bed and realized it. And I, of course, started texting everybody and letting them know. I mean, I really couldn't believe it, but it was a bad way to end it. We're probably greedy as Hog fans because, of course, we thought we'd do well. So, but yeah, devastated.
Mike.
I think, well, I was fortunate enough to go to Houston last year, and I remember looking in the airport, and there was a select few of people that were wearing masks, and you almost thought this is like a Twilight Zone movie, but you never envisioned that it was going to go to the point that it was. So once we got back after the trip from Houston, we had the Grand Canyon series there, and then Dave Van Horn won his 700th game, so we were thankful for that. But at the time, we thought it was only going to be a partial close down, or maybe select fans would be able to go to the games. And it just snowballed, and basically within a week, everything was gone. So it was kind of heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking for the players, especially Casey and Hessen. Those guys, I think it was tough on everybody.
Yeah, Jim.
Well, I was thinking about that last season, and it was a streaky season last year. We started off with 7 straight wins, and then we had 5 straight losses, and we ended up with 4 straight wins. So we're on a winning streak right now, guys, going into 21. I agree with Mike. In Houston, that was kind of a surreal thing going on. I remember in the hotel, we were seeing flight attendants who were coming in our hotel, and they were wearing masks, which is you see everywhere today, but that was new to us. And so people would get on the elevator with masks on, and people might get off who didn't want to be on the elevator with people wearing masks. It was a surreal thing, and it was very disappointing to have the season ended the way it did. Heston was off to a great start. Moore, he gets to continue, but he was off to a great start as well. And just a disappointing way to end the season after 16 games. But, hey, we're Razorbacks. We're going to fight back, and we're starting all over again.
Ryan.
At the time, Susie and I were actually headed to Houston. Well, kind of. We were headed to Austin for my sister's wedding, and we were going to try to sneak away to some of those Houston games down there. And we experienced a few personal hardships kind of during that time that kept us in a hospital in Waco for a little while, and ended up back in Washington Regional in Fayetteville. And we watched the last 2 games, not realizing that they were the last 2 games from a hospital room in Washington Regional. And we, with everything that kind of had hit us personally, we were kind of thinking that was the steady thing. That was the thing that we could kind of lean on to be the normal thing. And then if, just like everything else, it got taken away from us and from all the fans, and that stung. It was just another thing that we felt like we had lost. And I think about that just obviously from our perspective, but I also think about I know that those guys were. They were packing up to get on the plane to go to that first SEC series, and we see that they were given the opportunity to come back. The NCAA did them right and said you can come back if you want to, but obviously as Hog fans, we feel like we got robbed of the Golden Spikes campaign by a couple of guys that ended up going in the draft. So I feel like we definitely missed what could have been a unforgettable season for the Razorbacks that year.
You make a good point, Ryan, because for me personally, it was just the fact that we were no longer going to see Heston Kjerstad and Casey Martin in a raceback uniform. And then you think about what we got to experience with Andrew Benintendi when he had such a stellar season, I believe in 2015, and what it could have been for Heston Kjerstad and Casey Martin, but specifically Heston Kjerstad last year. So, it's bittersweet to go back and think about it, but it's really exciting now to turn a page and believe, baseball is just right around the corner. And this is a team in 2021 that's exciting because it's kind of an unknown, right, guys? Like, we don't really know exactly what this team is going to look like. We know what some pieces look like, but Dave Van Horn's trying to figure out his pitching rotation as we speak right now. So, it's exciting that baseball is back. It's exciting that they get to start with teams like Texas Tech and Texas and TCU in Arlington. Cross your fingers. Hopefully Mother Nature agrees and allows us to do so. But what are you looking forward to when you look at this 2021 roster? And Jim, we'll start with you.
Well, it's going to be exciting. As I said, Robert Moore, he was off to a great start. I remember over in our section, whenever somebody would do something like try to pick him off or something, people in our section, Mike, would yell, leave the kid alone. He's just a kid. and he's not a kid anymore.
Yeah.
He's going to be fun to watch. Exciting. I'm excited to watch that. Franklin, both Moore and Franklin have been selected All-Americans. And we've got a good nucleus coming back. With Goodhart, Opitz, Franklin, Moore, and others that have come back. And then add in the newcomers that I have not seen yet. I didn't go to any fall ball games. If I don't know if you guys did or not, but Coach Van Horn is excited about some of them, and he's going to put some good players on the field. And it's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be different, but it's going to be fun.
Kendall, you have a fun perspective out there in the hog pen, and you get all up close and personal with those outfilders. Christian Franklin, when he was in the field, shifting over to center field.
Yeah.
You have some fun with the guys on the other side of the other team as well, too. What's your perspective like out there?
Well, yeah, when Christian started in left field, it was great. Now, I don't even have I don't know who's going to be out there, but yeah, it's really fun to interact with them. This year is going to be a little different. We usually have spots out there that we get days early sometimes to get those spots, and now they're allotted, and so we don't know where we're going to be. We know we're going to be somewhere for the games, but so we might be behind Christian a few games, so it'd be fun to mess around with Christian again out center. So, but we're going to have a really good team. Exactly what Jim said. We haven't got to see anybody hardly. Nesbitt over at third, and you got Bobby Warner's back to maybe help him because Warner's was really so good at third. And so I don't know. I'm really anxious to be out there.
Yeah, we'll see if Nesbitt has any Bobby Warner's web gems in him.
Exactly.
See if you can take some notes, right? Hey, Mike, when you look at what this stadium's going to look like, it is not going to look like a bomb stadium that we're used to. But the silver lining there is the fact that fans at least get to be there, right?
Yeah, I think it's all for the plus side of that. I think it's going to be a beautiful facility once they have it all done. From a baseball perspective, you got to look at traditionally, we even had recruiting against us because of the wind that would drift in from right field and hold those. Now it's almost the opposite. If you remember a few years ago, we moved in the right field wall a little bit. Now we have a building right there. So if we had Chad Spanberger back here, he'd probably hit about 80 home runs, I think. So we're going to see a lot of people targeting that area, especially our guys, and it's going to be fun.
Ryan, what do you think about this roster? Because you look at it from a really cool perspective with just statistics and really dive into what these guys did a year ago and the potential that they have. What do you like about this 2021 roster?
Yeah, no, I definitely look at this year, and I think okay, we look at what we lost, right? We lost to Casey Martin, we lost to Heston Kjerstad, and we lost really a lot of home runs and a lot of stolen bases and a lot of extra base hits. And then the question is are the guys that are coming in now, are the guys that are backfilling for them? And then, of course, some of the question marks, right? Like we always love to play the roulette at first base every year with Dave Van Horn, and who's gonna fill in at that spot. Are they going to be able to make up for really, in this case, it's the what could have been stats. Like it'd be fun to say that Heston was going to hit 25 bombs last year. I mean, we don't really know that, but I mean, we don't have any reason to think otherwise. And I think what I'm looking forward to the most is really the transfers that are coming in, these JUCO guys or these grad transfers that in some cases they waited their turn, like Cullen Smith last year as a guy we might see get in the lineup a little bit that had to sit out. Last year was his sit out year, so he kind of caught the better end of everything, if there is a better end of everything. But then guys like Lyle Lockhart that are coming up from Houston, that he didn't have to sit out, or there's no rules against anything like that. So to see it, I'm really excited to see how these transfer guys come in, like a Jalen Battles coming from McLennan, and even the guys that have been here that were transfers, like Goodhart and Braden Webb, to see how they see the weight that they're willing to take on that Heston Kjerstad and Casey Martin left behind. So interesting to see those battles play out on the lineup.
So I want to ask you, if you had to look, all of you, at this roster, guys who are coming back who you're most excited to watch in 2021. For me, I think it's Casey Opitz, with everything that he's gone through, and to have Casey Opitz back behind the plate, and we know what kind of leader he's been already. Really excited to have Casey. Maybe he can increase that bat a little bit and kind of strengthen that part of his game. But we know defensively what he can do as a catcher. So, Mike, we'll start with you. Who on this roster are you really excited to watch this year?
Well, I hate to copy you, but that's exactly the player that I was thinking. We may have to kind of alter the catcher gear. He has a huge chip on his shoulder. I don't know if it's going to fit properly, but I'm excited knowing what type of person Casey is, the character, the talent, the mentality that he has. I think he's in for a monster season. So that's by far the most exciting. But as we mentioned before, all these new guys and even the guys returning, it's something that we're all going to look forward to, but especially Opitz.
How about you, Jim?
Opitz has got to be. I mean, he's the guy behind the plate, but also Moore, Franklin, Goodhart. I mean, they were selected preseason All-SEC first team. You gotta think that those be good. Well, they're good, and maybe they'll have monster years. But you never know. Somebody else can step up. And it's unexpected now. Battles, you've heard a lot of good things about Battles. On the pitching side, I'm looking forward to seeing what Caden Monk will do. He's had some really good outings, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Caden can do. He had some good games in the fall, and I think I'm excited to see what he can do.
What about you, Kendall?
Well, of course, being an outfield guy, I'm going to go with Christian. But yeah, and see how what we can do in the outfield to blend in together. Kjerstad played out there a lot, so just kind of seeing what we can do in the outfield. And once again, mention his name again, Nesbitt at third. I really think we'll do good with him at the corner. I think so. Radionfield's going to be tough.
And Ryan?
I am very excited to see the sixth-year Kevin Kopps and see what he does this season. I mean, he's been in school almost long enough to be a doctor. So he's almost got a PhD in baseball, I think. So, but he's a two-time captain now, which is it shows me that he's got the respect of all of his teammates. And I think it's an admirable thing about him is that he's going into his sixth year, and his role has always been wherever I'm needed, wherever I need to go. So if I don't know if he'll start some games for us this year. I don't know if he'll be a bridge to the back end type guy, or maybe even close some games out. And I'm really excited to see kind of where he fits in, if he ever fits into one role, and just see how he leads this team this year.
All right, let's have a little fun, guys. Last year, we always talk about this. We always try, especially in the media, try to kind of have some fun and guess who will do this. Who's going to hit the first home run of the season? Dave Van Horn says they still have power. They haven't lost any power. So who hits the first home run? Kendall, we'll start with you.
I think it was picked last year, but Opitz.
Okay.
But yeah, Opitz.
Mike?
Nesmith is my pick.
Okay. Ryan?
Well, I wonder who's leading off on the first game. So I'm gonna say Robert Moore. I think Robert Moore is gonna hit a leadoff home run down there at Globe Life Field.
Jim?
Picking more also.
Okay. I believe last year Christian Franklin who hit the first home run of the season.
Yeah,
I think.
that's right.
And I don't think any of us guessed that either. I think we're all like PC Martin, Heston Kjerstad. So it was Franklin last year, I think. So we'll see if they can hit any home runs in Globe Life Park to start things off. Guys, when you look at what Arkansas has and you look at the SEC, right now D1 Baseball has them ranked 8th in the country. Some other publications have them as much 22nd. There's such a wide gap, right? But how do you think Arkansas can fare in the SEC, specifically the SEC West? Jim?
Picking at this time of the year is always it's a crapshoot. I think what they have us pick third or fourth in the West. Some
Third.
publications do. Third. I think we're going to contend for the championship. Coach Van Horn, you got to give him the season to work things through, make different plays, move different positions, and so forth. And I think we're going to have the talent to compete with all of them.
Kendall?
I was kind of looking at. I couldn't remember. Okay, so we got Mississippi State, and LSU at LSU. So I think that's a big thing. But who knows with this schedule, what's going to happen? Games getting delayed, but of course, I'm always going to think we're going to win the division. But it'll be a little tough with those 3 series on the road. So I don't know. I'm going to say first in the division. It's got to.
Ryan?
Well, I don't think that's such a bad take because not counting 2020, 2018 and 2019, I believe we finished as the co-champions. Know how we all at Arkansas we all love giving out those co-honors. We're co-champions of the SEC West with Mississippi State in 2018 and Ole Miss in 2019. So I don't think there's any reason to think that we would fall anything short of that again this year. We look at the schedule, and it's the same schedule that these guys had to face in 2018 on the road at Ole Miss, on the road at Mississippi State, on the road at LSU. And, we got a couple of other tough road matchups. But really, if the thing that we did so well in 2018 was we defended bomb, right? We didn't lose games at home. And that's a tall order. I mean, that's tough to ask any future team to do what 2018 team did. But if we do, there's no reason to think that the top 8 team in the country, essentially – now, when you look at that, you say an Omaha team. There's no reason to think that we couldn't make it a third straight time to Omaha.
Yeah, Mike.
Well, I think if you look at, I think Ole Miss is the one that's favored, or at least the poll maybe the coaches poll. And Ole Miss historically, probably the last couple of seasons, they might have got a little bit better into the deal than we have. Now, Mississippi State was second, and I think we're real close. So it's almost a tie for second for finishing in the West. And if you guys know, for some weird reason, one team sweeps the other one for probably the last 3 years. So I feel like we're going to go down there and sweep those guys. So we'll take care of them. We'll take care of Ole Miss. But here's the thing, as Ryan mentioned, the SEC, yes, that's a lot of pride, but the key is getting back to Omaha, and I feel excited about our chances there.
My final question for you, gentlemen, as I know that we're all looking forward to the start of the season, but obviously the home opener at Baum Walker Stadium here in the coming week. What is your favorite part about Baum Walker Stadium? Mike, we'll start with you.
Well, it's a part that we're probably not going to have. I love baseball, but the RBI girls do an excellent job. Ribby, the Diamond Dolls, they do that. Somehow we're going to I'm not sure if they found a solution to that, but I think we may be missing them. But I just like the atmosphere. I like really looking at the opponents coming in and looking at in all of it. It could be freezing out there, especially Jim with his flag over there in 101. He's going to be there. But I think what I hear from the other teams and from the parents is they are just super impressed with how much Arkansas loves baseball. So that's my favorite part.
Ryan.
I love that we've got a team that loves winning there, and I love that we have the smartest baseball fans in the country, and they fill that place up. And this year, they will continue to fill it up as much as we are allowed to do so. So I love the passion of this fan base, and I love that our team responds to it.
Jim.
All right. My favorite part of Arkansas Razorback baseball is Section 101.
Awesome.
I made a sign there. You see that?
Yes.
Hello, Section 101, the greatest section in Baum-Walker State.
I second that.
And Mike Harris is there. Rick Catsby is our Section 101 weatherman.
Yeah,
that's
we've
right.
got great fans. Bill Dodson is our play-by-play. He's the guy with the play-by-play headset on that comes in there and fills that out. No, seriously, part of the joy of going to baseball games for me is the camaraderie, friends like Mike, watching Kendall and Ryan, other fans like Ryan, and there's different sections and groups that do different things that make it all a fun atmosphere. And the atmosphere of Baum-Walker Stadium is an important thing, but not only that, it's the quality of the baseball that we have. I mean, I think we take it for granted probably. Coach Van Horn is one of the top coaches in the country. We have some of the top facilities, top program, and all that put together with the commitment by the fans, the spirit groups. Mike mentioned the RBI girls and Ribby, and it's just all a great atmosphere, and the things that the media does. Our PA folks and the sound people, and putting all that together. I mean, it's just all part of the experience that makes it special.
You know, I think, Kendall, you might be a little biased, but you might now have to defend your territory from Section 101.
Yeah,
we hear from the Hog pen. We can hear them. We can hear
Yeah,
them.
we get a good view of it. Kendall does a great job out there for sure.
Well, that's what I was going to say about 101, because it's right across from us. So we're watching them, and it's great to see him with the K's down there and just everything. It's fun to watch them. But yeah, I've got to defend the Hog pen. So yes, it's great, and just being out in the Hog pen is and meeting the other players, especially from other teams. It wasn't last year before last, so I guess 2019. It was one of the SEC teams that came up, and he seen me. He's like, I remember you out here from my freshman year. And so, it's just meeting the players and things like that. But yes, I feel bad for being fourth pick to pick about Baum, because everything they said is the best thing about Baum. Everything.
Consensus is there is no wrong answer. I just think the sounds of baseball in general are something special, and we're excited to have baseball season right around the corner. Gentlemen, we're also excited that you got to join us. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks for inviting us.